It may look like a mess, but it is not. Yet, at least. Accessory wire to the ignition, cut, you can tap into it for power to my coolant temp gauge, my boost gauge, my AFR gauge, which my AFR wires are ran, those are done. Boost gauge just needs to be put up there. I have all I'm just getting ready to run the power and the ground wires. Ground wires are all getting a violet, easy peasy. But I ran my boost sensor yesterday, pressure sensor. Just have it popped out right there, make it easily accessible for now if I need to mess with it. Teed it off of this line. AEM gave me that little tee off for it, and some boost line. So just gonna try to maybe hide it under this. We'll see. Just to tuck it a little more. Now I'm getting ready to. Here we go. Over here, my wideband sensor, I guess that's what you call it. It ran under the battery cover. Sensor runs into there. That goes to display or whatever. The actual unit. Now I'm trying to find out where I'm going to put my coolant temp sensor. Well, AEM gave me this cool little coolant temp sensor with my kit, and it just so happens to twist right into the radiator. So that's where I'm going to run my coolant temp gauge lines. Just trying to get it tied up in there for now. But coolant temp sensor is going to be right here, and then the fan switch in the OEM location over there on the right side. So I'll go ahead and twist this in and then run some wires for it. Alright, I got this coolant temp sensor. Twist it in, should be enough, should be tight. I'm gonna go ahead and start running some wires for the gauge. So I've decided to start with running the wire out the car this time. Before I've been going into the car, this time I'm going out of the car. The reason is because it's a pain in the butt to get my hand down in there. So I'm gonna push it through from the inside, pull it, and I'm gonna run it all the way along the chassis boom down to here. That's where the sensor's gonna go, the radiator. I think I'm gonna have to extend it because it's not long enough, but it's only 2 wires, so it's not that bad. I'm gonna start doing it. Tons of wiring now. Connectors on connectors, got everything labeled. We got coolant temp gauge, AFR gauge, boost gauge, all the display ones. Display connectors are ran up. 2 for AFR, 1 for boost, 1 for coolant temp. Coolant temp is ran this way, as well as boost, and AFR is ran on that side. But you go get a couple fuses, throw them in these little inline fuse holders, and bolt up the grounds, and we'll see what's going on. See if my wiring worked. As I figured, coolant temp line and sensor wires weren't even long enough. So I spliced in right here some butt connectors, threw some heat shrink over it. All the way down, I'm gonna run it behind the washer fluid. I think I'm gonna get some loom too to just loom it up, make it look a little nicer so there's not wires everywhere. But I left enough to tuck in if I needed. This one's just gonna go about right here, assuming. So, gotta go get some fuses, see if my wiring works. Almost there. Alright, I got my temp sensor hooked up, AFR gauge hooked up, boost gauge and sensor hooked up. Everything hooked up. Technically, if I put my key in and turn it, it should start it. Or should turn all those on. Oh yeah. We got power. We got power. Give her a crank. Oh, baby. Let's go. Yeah, buddy.